Marciano. I was trembling, but my
What up, y'all? It's your girl, Robin the Heart, and I have a special guest with me today, Mr. Christopher Marciano. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Well, I'm excited to have you. Okay, Chris, so for those of you who don't know who Christopher Marciano is, he is a very talented man. You're very artistic, and I know that you are very involved in the music industry. So you sing.
Yes.
Yes.
And, actually started by accident. I was a songwriter before I became a singer.
I was going to ask about that too. You beat me to it.
And I just remember becoming a songwriter was an accident because I was having a lot of hardships in elementary school.
Really?
Because I was constantly pulled out of school for speech because they thought that the way I was communicating was a little off.
Okay.
So in their eyes, they thought that they were helping me by like making my sound better or making my words sound better. But for me, it kind of closed me off a lot more.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you're insecure about it, though?
Well, they were pulling me. You have to understand, like, I'm in a whole class, and they're coming into the classroom and taking me out and working with me one-on-one on sounding better.
Right.
And then they bring me back to class, so I kind of felt different than everybody else. And
Right.
I was like, okay, this made me shyer, made me more nervous to
Right.
talk to anybody.
Right.
And they were getting frustrated because I wasn't getting it right.
Right.
So from there, I was like, okay, I just started writing how I was feeling instead of
Really?
telling people how I was feeling. And that evolved into like poetry and eventually became music. I started putting it to instrumentals and beats, and it grew from there.
Wow. Okay, so you've been writing music since elementary, or?
I would say a solid song. I remember it's called My Holiday. It's the corniest song in the world.
No, it's not. I mean, I haven't heard it, but I'm going to say it's not.
I mean,
There has to be something worse out there.
low-key, it's like a little. I was like, okay, that's pretty impressive for an 8-year-old. But that was the first time like I put something to an instrumental, and I was like, okay, I have a song here. And I started entering poetry contests in high school and winning, and I was like, okay, this is really cool. I can make something out of this.
Right.
But when you're older, your family doesn't really want to hear that. They don't want to hear you want to do something in the arts. So
Right.
naturally, like, you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be a lawyer. So I definitely went to school for education and became a teacher.
I know. You're very well-rounded. So, and with your, okay, there's a lot I want to know. Okay, so first of all, let's go back to, you said you started as a songwriter.
Yes.
Okay, so I know there's a lot of people even in this area, or in the Orlando area, that you've written for. Yeah. And how did that come about, you working with your first artist?
My first artist was actually a European artist. I wrote a song and I put it on YouTube. This is when YouTube first came out, and I just put it out there. And then this person came to my job and was like, oh, I saw this video, I want you to work with my artist. And I was like, okay. I didn't even know much about like the music business at all. And he gave me a CD. This shows you how old this was. He gave me a CD.
It wasn't a cassette, okay? So it isn't that bad.
You're right. It was an 8. And he was like, here, write to this. And it had one song on there. He came back maybe 2 days later and wanted to hear what I had, and I didn't even finish it. And I'm naturally, back then, I was super, super shy.
Right.
And he wanted me to sing it right then and there. And I sang maybe the first verse and the chorus, and then he was like, and walked off. And I was like, okay, I don't know what happened. All right. And then he calls me and said, that was dope. I want to bring you on to the team.
Oh, wow.
And from there, I went to Atlanta, I went to Miami, and like it was my first experience being in studios and working with like different people.
Oh, wow.
It was amazing. And it was all paid. I was so happy.
That's awesome.
But then that was my first artist that I really connected with. I wrote she came out with a mixtape, and I wrote 6 out of 8 songs on her mixtape.
Wow.
Her name's Ramaisa, and right now she's doing amazing things. And then from there, I just caught like people's attention around Orlando. I just started going to these like music events and these showcases and marketing myself. And I started working with people like Paula Day, who's now out in LA, and talking to people like Van Chisel, who's amazing, and Brian Cavill, and just keeping myself busy and writing for as many people as I could.
Right.
And that's how that started, songwriting.
So that's great. Okay, so you weren't even really trying to be out there. Like, it really just kind of fell on your lap.
Yeah, that's why I say it happened by accident. Everybody's like, don't say that it's God's plan. But I'm like, no, it really did happen by accident.
I mean, that was part of God's plan, but it was an accident in your eyes. But he knew what was happening.
What he was doing.
Right. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, so, and then since then, you have worked with a lot of other people, not just locally. Yes. I know that you've done stuff for Don Richardson, correct?
Yes, Don Rashad, yes. From
Rashad, I'm sorry. My fault. Sorry, Don.
So, it's crazy because till this day, she's my favorite singer, my favorite artist. I idolize her probably a little obsessed. My friends think it's a problem. It's okay, they don't know it. But I entered a songwriting contest in 2014, I believe, and the contest was called Demo with Celebrities. So you write a song, have an artist record it, and whichever song gets the most votes, they get a feature from a celebrity. And not by chance, but by God, the celebrity was Don Rashad, and I was like, this is crazy, this is meant to be.
Right.
So fast forward, we ended up winning the entire contest, and she recorded our song. We met her, and the song is called Hush. It's pretty amazing, and it was just mind-blowing because for me, I didn't think I would ever work with the person that I idolized so much so soon.
Right.
And yeah, that's how that song
That's
came about.
amazing. And you still keep in contact with her and everything?
I do. She messages me like holidays and stuff on Twitter, and her mom is like crazy dope. She is always messaging me and liking all my pictures. I'm like, she's amazing. And I've seen her. We just went out to Fort Lauderdale to see their concert because Danity Kane is back together. And I saw them there. I didn't get to talk to them there because we left pretty early on before they came out. But after that moment, like the whole Heart Nation that we call ourselves, like it's like a little group of people that are hardcore fans. I've met all of them through this process, and it's so amazing, like how this little family came about.
Right,
so cool.
Right. Very cool, very cool. So I personally have known you for a while now. I'm like,
a long time.
At least 10 years, I'd say.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
That's crazy.
What's crazy about this is, though, from, the beginning, I knew that you were doing songwriting. I knew that. But why is it that just, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago, I found out that you sing? I'm like, I knew you write music. A lot of people can, or not can, but a lot of people write music, but not necessarily can sing. Yeah. But you can sing. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, I remember you being at my first show and hearing someone was recording and I heard it and you were like, okay.
Yeah,
hey,
because
okay.
I'm like, how do I know you all this time? And I had no idea that you actually sang and you wanted to sing. So how did you transform from songwriting to actually you getting on stage and singing your music? Yeah.
Well, I was in the studio with one of my artists and working on his project, and I know, like, a lot of songwriters, and speaking for songwriters out there, they are not just songwriters. They dabble in so much. So for me, I was giving him advice on, like, what single he should push first and the video treatment. And basically, we're acting like as an A&R because we have all this bulk of knowledge of, like, music, and we want to help as much as we can. So I was giving him direction on, like, hey, I think this should be a single, but don't release it right away. Do a visual with it. Be different because he's always released singles and then a video afterwards, but the feedback hasn't been that high because of that. So I was trying to give him more advice. So he came back at me and said, well, what do you know? You've never been an artist before. And I was like, you know what? You are absolutely right. So I said I was going to become an artist for just do one album. And I was even planning on doing it full time. One album, do like this whole research project behind what works and what doesn't work and learning the business and working with people. And I told myself I'm going to do it. I'm going to not hit pause on songwriting because I'll still be writing songs for myself. But go more into the artist route. And when I did that, I released my first song was Runaway. which you're in the music video. She did an amazing job. When I literally told her, like, this is your part. This is your part. Can you do it? And she's like, yeah, of course. And she blew it away. So it's on YouTube. Make sure you guys catch it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You didn't, I'm telling you. And then from there, I wrote a song for Vincenzo, who's a Orlando artist as well. And I sent it to him, and he said, actually, I want you to sing at a showcase that I have coming up. And I was like, ooh, I have to perform on stage. And he was like, yeah. And I literally did this whole production, and I had a whole box there with projecting mapping, lights and everything, and dancers. And it was just mind-blowing. And that feeling that I got from the crowd and the hype, like the amount of positivity that was there told me that I need to do this.
Absolutely.
Like, and it's not just a research project. I want to do this full on. So that's how it started.
Yeah, I didn't know that that's why. So so it's almost like you started performing to be like, yeah, I told you so. You know what I mean? To whoever this artist was that you had that conversation with, but it ended up working out for you because you have been doing really great. I've, had the opportunity to come to a couple of your shows, and as you were saying, like, you really put a whole story behind it. It's not that you just get on stage and do your song and walk off. Like, it's a whole theatrical experience. A production, yes. Like you said, there's lights and dancers and videos. And I was very impressed.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, because in my mind, I feel like I want to give everyone a different experience coming to the show. Because they're paying money, so anytime they come, I want them to see something different.
Right.
And for like you to say like it's a whole experience, that like makes me feel super happy, because that's what I want it to be. Like, I don't want it to be. I mean, I can't just come and sing on a microphone and it be cool, but I want you guys to take something away from it and be like, wow, that was amazing.
No, it definitely was an experience, or is an experience every time you perform, and I just think that's very impressive, especially since I get that you've been in the music game, but you're a pretty new artist yourself.
Very new.
So, you see artists that have been out here forever, and they are not even close to putting on the performance that you put on. So you should be very proud of yourself. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So speaking of performing, you just dropped a single.
Yes, I did.
Stubborn.
Yes, Stubborn is out everywhere on iTunes, Spotify, all the music platforms. It's my baby. It's featuring Jose he's from Big Brother. He's also an artist.
Nice.
From Big Brother, he was on X on the Beach, MTV's X on the Beach, and all these shows. And I sent him the song. One day I was laying on the couch and I saw his music video come on TV, and I emailed his team, and literally the next day they emailed and called me.
Really?
Yeah, it was like so quick. I was just like, oh wow. And the team loved it, and they wanted to. It was a quick process. They said yes, signed the contracts and all that, and it's amazing. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, I've heard it. And
what you think?
I like it. It's definitely a summer banger. I like it. It's just like, okay, yeah, I'm stubborn, so what?
I'm gonna play this in my car.
I feel like everyone can relate to it. So
I'm definitely stubborn.
Yeah, I know. No, that's dope. I think the whole process that you've had thus far is not the typical story. Like, I just always wanted to do music forever. I just pushed and pushed, and this is what happened. Like, your story is very different. You know what I mean? Like, you have already accomplished so much that a lot of, again, artists that have been doing this forever have not. So just, again, have the songwriting, how it came about, and how you've worked with so many people. And again, not just locally, like national artists, international artists. That's very impressive. And then, again, you're putting together your own music, your own performances, and you're working with different celebrities in themselves, too.
It's pretty dope.
It's very
crazy.
dope.
I mean, my family and my friends have to constantly remind me what's happening.
Yeah.
Because in my eyes, I feel like I'm not working hard enough.
Right.
And a lot of people don't know, but I have another career. Like, I'm a full-blown, I work in education. And I still feel like I'm so behind, but then my family sit down and tell me, like, you have worked with people who have been on Billboard, who've been #1, and you have these amazing shows that people are singing your songs. They don't even know you.
Right.
And I think we as humans, we just have to sit down and really appreciate what we do because we're our worst critics.
Of
and
course.
we know that. But when I actually sit down and look at how much I've done in 2 years' time, it's pretty crazy. And,
It's very crazy.
I'm thankful to God for that because I don't know what else I would do if I didn't find this route. Like if it just didn't happen by accident, what I would be doing right now.
Right.
Because this level of like happiness is euphoric. Like I've never experienced it before. Being on a stage and having a whole crowd of people sing your song word for word is a different experience I've ever experienced. And I don't want anything to jeopardize that.
No, it's only going to grow from here. It's only going to get better. And as you said, I mean, look what you've accomplished in such this short amount of time.
Yeah.
And as you said, you have a full-time job outside of this. So everyone out there should be lucky that you have a full-time job right now, because if you didn't, where would
the damage I would be doing?
Exactly. But it's coming. It's coming. So
trust me.
No. And I think honestly, the thing I really like about your story is what you said at the very beginning of how you were being taken out of class for speech, and you're an artist singing. You know what I mean? I would think that that's some kind of trial to leap over, and you've done it. You know what I mean?
It's very different to look back and see, like, oh, you were that shy kid who could not get his S's right or could not get his words together, been to so many different schools. And then now I'm completely open with myself. I am, I am not shy. And just performing in front of people and like traveling to Maryland and performing there and just doing all this stuff is very different than what I thought I would be doing. So it's pretty dope.
I think that's very inspiring, because I'm sure there's other, not even kids, but full-blown adults out there too that, think that I want to do this career, but I can't because of this. And it's
in
like,
their past. Yeah, it's a lot of, like, when I was a teacher, I would tell my students all the time, like, you can't hold on to your past. You can't allow that to dictate who you are, because that's not who you are.
Right.
And I can relate. I've worked in a lot of low socioeconomic schools where these kids have tough lives, and I was that kid, so I could tell them, like, your teacher was that student in school who was struggling, who didn't know what to do. Like, of course, as I went on, I was achieving good grades and all that, but they could do that as well. Like, don't let your past dictate where you're gonna go and limit yourself from what you could achieve, because I did it.
Right.
And I feel like more people need to realize that the past is not
the future.
Yeah, it's not the future.
Yeah.
It's not who you are.
No, that's very inspiring. That's very inspiring. Good for you. No. So you're working on your album.
Yes.
What's going on with that?
It's the death of me. I literally will, if you see my wall in my room, there's a huge whiteboard and it has all the tracks on my album. And then I'll look at it and say, I don't want that one on there. I'm going to put this song on there. And then I'll look at it and I'm like, I think 20 songs is way too much. Let me cut that in half. So this was going on for a while. And I think when I sat and listened to all of my songs, I want to say maybe a year ago, so a year into me being an artist, I listened to the songs that I had, and I felt like I matured since those songs. So I started creating even more music. And now I finally have my track list for the album, and I'm listening to it. I'm like, this is exactly what it's about.
Okay.
And I'm not changing it. I've not touched it.
You swear?
Yes. I'm not touching it. I promise. I'm not touching it. And so I'm excited about it. I haven't put a release date on it because I want to make sure the packaging is right, and a lot of people don't know, like, the behind the scenes stuff that has to happen before an album comes out. So I want to make sure the features and all the contracts and all the producers are being represented the best way possible, because I feel like a lot of negative things happen when music comes out, and I'd never want to be that artist. Anyone who's worked with me knows that I'm very professional, and I make sure I give all my credit, and I make sure everything is done to perfection before it's released, so that they're being represented, because this is not just my song. Like, I wrote it, I arranged it, I did all this stuff, but there's other people behind it who produced or who engineered the song that I want to give credit to, or who featured on it. So it's a lot of back and forth and communication with their teams, and making sure that they are happy with the song. Because a lot of people, I'll tell you, I've written songs for artists, and I did not even know that it was released until I heard it on iTunes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that's the worst feeling, because I had this one song that was released, and in my opinion, the lyrics was very well written, but the actual composition of the song and the mixing and the mastering wasn't the best.
Right.
And I wish they had sent it to me just to ask me, like, hey, how did you feel about that song? Or is there anything I could do with the song? But in reality, that's what happens in the business. You don't get that. So for me, before I release any song, like even with Stubborn with Jose, I sent it to him, and he thankfully only took 2 or 3 times for him to be like, okay, this is what I want to fix, and then be done. But I want to make sure I do that with all my features. So that's where I'm at right now. The songs are, I think I have 1 or 2 more songs done left to record, and from there it's just figuring out how I'm going to let it go and release it.
So is it safe to say before the end of the year?
You're pushing it. You're pushing
it.
I would love for it to come out this year.
Okay.
I think it has to. I feel like after 2 years, I need to have some solid projects to represent myself. And
Before the end of the year. You heard it right here.
Before the end of the year, I will have it out to you just for you, Robin.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate
Robin
it.
the heart.
All right. I'm making an artist like go on their projects quickly. No pressure. No pressure. No. No, but I'm excited to hear it, and I'm sure other people are as well, because again, things that you put out thus far have been great. So I can only imagine how your first album's gonna be.
It's mind blowing. Like, listening back to it, I listen to it every day in my car. No lie. People say, "Oh yeah, I listen to that every day." No, I listen to it every day from beginning to end of what I have so far, and it's pretty amazing. It's very, the album is very vulnerable and honest, because I think I'm not that open to my feelings, like openly to everyone. So I want my first album to be like, this is everything you need to know about me. Cool, that's me. Now let's move on. Like, I just want my album to be as open as possible. Like, know what I went through, know where I'm at now, and where I'm going.
Right. I like it. Just laying it all on the table.
Literally all on the album.
Yeah.
All out, like literally all out there.
I like it.
Some feelings may be hurt, but
hey,
it is what it is.
All right. And I know you're very particular, so that's why I know it's gonna sound very, very good. That's why I want to hear it. No, you're very like
she wants to say it. You're stubborn. You're a perfectionist. You want to get your way with this album, so.
I'm glad you said. I didn't actually say it. You said it, so I was. So, but thank you for saying it for me. But yes, but because of all those things, that's why I know this project is going to be mind-blowing. So I'm excited to hear it. So, well, will you let everyone watching know where they can find your music that's already out, and where they can reach you if they want to maybe collab or something of that sort?
Well, you can follow me on all social media, Marciano Music, Marciano Music. You can also check out my website, marcianomusic.com, or if you want to collaborate with me, I'm definitely open to it. I love to collaborate with anyone. Contact marciano@gmail.com.
Thank you, Christopher Marciano. Make sure you guys are keeping it locked with me, Robin the Heart. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and comment.